A reading from the letter of Paul to the Galatians. Brothers and sisters, when the fullness of time had come, God sent his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to ransom those under the law, so that we might receive adoption. As proof that you are children, God sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, crying out, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but a child. And if a child, then an heir through God. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Father Mark Link, in one of his homilies, tells the following story. A retreat master was giving a retreat, and toward the end of it, a young woman handed him a note. He put the note in his pocket and he forgot about it. However, after the retreat, he found it, unfolded it, and this is what he read. For the past 8 months, I have been in psychotherapy. As a child, I experienced overwhelming fear because of hatred and abuse. A major focus of my life right now is to overcome and transform that fear. The details are unnecessary, but much of my fear is centered on my mother. I had become so turned off to the concept of mothers that I consciously rejected the love of Mary, the mother of Jesus. After your talk on Mary, I walked outside feeling terribly alone. I prayed for the grace to break through the wall that was keeping me from trusting. I wanted to cry, but haven't in months. You may have noticed a small round building near the cemetery. Curiosity is one of my strongest traits. I walked to it and opened the door. When I looked inside, I was filled with fear. There stood a large statue of Mary. My first impulse was to run away in anger, but something drew me slowly to the kneeler of her feet. Then I fell to my knees, weeping into the folds of her robes. When it was over, I felt alarmed, cleansed, and new. I felt willing to be a trusting child. Even more important, I felt that a mother's love had touched me, leaving in me a true desire to forgive my natural mother. This young woman's story is unique in one way, but in another way, it's universal. Because her story has been repeated thousands of times. The details of her journey are hers alone, but the essence of it she shares with many others. Countless lost souls have come to Mary and found the hope needed to start again. They found a spiritual mother in Mary. They prayed for the grace to go through the wall that kept them from trusting. They discovered that Mary was there to help them do it. In God's wonderful plan to save us from ourselves, He gave us Mary to open our hearts and to teach us how to trust and forgive. In this way, Mary brings us to Christ and the church. It's a happy coincidence that the Confession Chapel at the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., is called the Chapel of Our Lady of Hope. because the sacrament of reconciliation is our constant source of hope. No matter how much we have sinned, abandoned loved ones, betrayed those who trusted us, or let people down, we can be healed and forgiven by God. Our Blessed Mother will warmly draw us to this grace of forgiveness, especially when we mistakenly think that we have committed the most unforgivable sin, whatever that may be. Generally, it's our natural mothers who communicate to us our sense of trust and hope. Sadly, there are cases when some mothers fail to do this, as we heard in this story of the young woman. Mary, our heavenly mother, can supply what our earthly mother may not have been able to give us. What's more, our Blessed Mother can help us forgive the parent who could not help us. The tears shed by that young woman into the robes of Mary, they were a gift from God. Such tears awaken one to the possibilities of a new start in life. You know, as religious, we Redemptorists are strongly encouraged to have a relationship with Mary. Our closest relationship to a woman should be with the Mother of God, so that Mary becomes the mistress of our souls. St. John Vianney, the patron saint of parish priests, writes, "She is the longest relationship I have ever had. She is much better still than the best of mothers." As at the wedding feast of Cana, seeing that they have no wine, the mother of Jesus stands between her Son and us. The same intercession and maternal mediation continues in heaven. She obtains for us every grace we need. Blessed Mother Teresa of Calcutta once told one of our confreres that is why he needed to pray to the Mother of Jesus. Does the Son ever refuse the request of his mother?